What is the worst / scariest thing that has woken you up? Actually just happened last week. Woke up to my dog growling and someone was shining a light into my window at 2 a.m. I was super out of it and trying to process what was going on since the light was coming from someone in my fenced-in backyard. Then my dog barked loud and the person ran away. One important preface: at the time I lived alone, no roommates. One time I was taking a nap in my bedroom, happened to have a really horrible nightmare, and then woke up to some strange man standing in my bedroom shining a flashlight in my face while I laid in bed. Both of us freaked the out. It turned out he was the maintenance guy for the apartment complex I lived in, finally responding to a maintenance request I had put in like 6 months before. He thought the apartment was empty, then heard me thrashing around from the nightmare and went and looked into the dark bedroom, blackout curtains, with his flashlight to see what was making the noise. After both of us recovered from our near heart attacks, he was extremely apologetic, and he did finally fix my garbage disposal, but Jesus Christ, that was terrifying for a few seconds. I've told this before, but my son has taken to sleepwalking. He used to just stand by the bed, silently, until I'd snap awake and see his silhouette looming over me. Now, he's taken to turning on the lights when he's sleepwalking. I woke up one night, and he was standing there, turning the lights on and off, completely zoned out. I get him back to bed, and I think, I'm sleeping downstairs for the rest of the night. Around 3 o'clock I wake up. All of the lights downstairs are on. Edit, I go to a doctor's appointment after posting this and come back to see everyone's sleepwalking experiences. Cool stuff. Some general answers to repeated questions. It only happens every now and again, and it seems to come in what we've called storms. He'll sleepwalk for 2 or 3 nights, and then have a week or so off. We do keep the front doors locked. We don't shut our bedroom doors, though, because he has walked face first into them while sleepwalking, which, if you think a kid standing over you is creepy, wait until they slam the door open with their head. I've become used to it. My reaction went from "Omph" after the first few times to "damn it, again." My wife, though, is creeped out. Neither my wife or I, or his younger sibling, have been sleepwalkers. Anyway, keep on walking in the sleep world. My math teacher calling out my name 6+ times in a room of 20 other students and me slowly waking up while mumbling shhhh be quiet, not realizing that the voice I was hearing wasn't, in fact, in a dream. Was woken at 3 a.m. by a drunk man trying to open the external door into my room. It's not something you expect to happen when you live out of town, surrounded by paddocks. Oh, and there was also the time I woke up to a possum on my side table. That wasn't pleasant for either party. My daughter was a sleepwalker. There is something so indescribably creepy about waking up to a 4-year-old standing at your bedside, just staring. She wouldn't make a sound, she'd let her stinky breath wake me up. Then once I recovered from the shock of her being there, she'd speak in tongues because she wasn't really awake. I'd assure her she was asleep and escort her back to her room to be tucked in, never taking my eyes off her for fear her head would swivel around fully and she'd laugh maniacally at me. Scared the out of me every time. My buddy and I were camping and saw a bear, so we decided to sleep in his car. I was still worried about the bear, so it took forever to fall asleep. Well, right after I fell asleep, I woke up to screams and something grabbing my face. I immediately started crying, knowing that a bear was about to rip my face off. Then I realized it was my friend having a night terror. I was livid. A few years back I hear a thud in the hallway and my 4-year-old daughter screaming in pain. She had fallen and gotten a small but deep cut just above her left eyebrow. When I got out to the hallway, her face, hands and pajamas were covered in blood and she was holding her hands against her face. I thought she lost her eye. A quick trip to the ER for a couple of stitches and she was right as rain, but I gained almost all of my grey hair that night. Anyone here have one of those robotic vacuums? When the power goes out, those start wandering around lost, bumping into. Absolutely terrifying thing to be woken up by at 3 in the morning. My 2-year-old standing over me with a kitchen knife. He wanted sliced apples at 4 in the morning, and somehow managed to climb up on table and pull out a knife. Now we keep them in the cupboard. Adaraju, wake up, I think the house is on fire. Turned out it was the downstairs neighbor burning his wife's car up. Edit 1, I was 8. The downstairs neighbors were the sort of white trash that make the people on Shameless look like punks. I still don't for sure know why he burned his wife's car up, but he did a thorough job of it. The thing was a burnt out frame that looked like the aftermath of those don't drink and drive posters. I do know the insurance company ruled it was arson. 2. My username is a corruption of Adai on Dakiju. I just made it up for my DeviantArt page. My name's not really Adaraju. 3. For the folks making the Simpsons references, it really was my mother waking me up, and I swear to, I actually live in upstate New York, a few miles outside Albany. And no, we don't call them steamed hams. In January of this year a car ran into my bedroom at 1 a.m. Those asking for more info, basically I had just gotten home from visiting my parents and I went to bed around 12:30 a.m. At 1:04 a.m. a car ran into my bedroom / connected half bathroom. My bathroom is about 3 feet squared, so that was completely destroyed, and the car was partially in my room also. My roommate and I went outside after calling 911 to search for the driver. Thankfully he was okay. He was laying on the ground about 20 feet away from a car. He had empty beer cans in his car and pill bottles. He told us he was 25, but we soon found out from police he was 19. This whole situation has been a mess because my landlord wanted to do all the repairs himself. I just moved back into my room last week and had been living in the living room for the past 2 months. I'm glad to finally have a bedroom again, but sleeping in that room still makes me nervous at night. I still can't use my bathroom after 10 p.m. because it makes me nervous. It'll be fine eventually, I just need to get used to it. Apartment on fire. Actually this week is the 5th anniversary. The sound of a fox doing his mating call. It sounded like a woman screaming, and it was right outside my window. Sad smiley. Edit 1, here is the fox call I heard that night. Edit 2, alternative fox video, /_CE. A 6.0 earthquake at 3 in the morning. Probably the most helpless I have ever felt. I expected my ceiling fan to fall on me. When you're lying in bed with no protection nearby, you basically just have to hold on and hope everything is alright. Woke up by my dad, blind, to check if my mom is okay, last stage cancer, and nope, she passed away. It was 13 years ago. Disappointed face, disappointed face. Edit, thank you everyone for the kind words. Really warm my heart. Edit 2, just to clarify, I'm the youngest in my family. I still have brother and sister. Some people might thought I'm the only child and make it even sadder. I was 13 years old at that time. And all of my siblings is now either happily married or having a successful businesses or both. So we are doing great now. Happy smiley. Yeah. I was maybe 5 years. Woke up to someone banging on the back door followed by gunshots as they entered the house. It was my ex-stepdad. He'd come to try to kill my mother. Thanked he was unsuccessful. Edit, she had been having a bad feeling for a few weeks and that kept getting worse and worse. They were so bad the day of that she asked a real close male friend if he would crash on the couch that night. Psycho X comes in. Gunshots. Male friend shot in the leg. X then proceeds to bite off male friend's ear, all while mom is beating the guy with a kitchen chair. I honestly don't know what made him give up and leave. Maybe the hurt back and bleeding head from said chair. 30 years later I realize I never asked that question. Anyway, all this happened while I was hiding under covers in my bed 1 room away. Edit #2 just called mom to ask cause I was really curious. She said he was stumbling around out of it from the chair, hitting him over and over in the head, so when he was close enough to the front door she shoved him out of it and locked it. Then of course called 911. My girlfriend's mother telling me there were 2 police officers and my mother at the front door. It was 4 a.m. and I was sleeping at the girlfriend's house. They had come to inform me my dad had died. That was around 14 years ago. I'm afraid to say that I don't think this sort of wake-up won't happen again. In grad school, my roommate standing directly over me, staring down at me. She couldn't decide if she should wake me up or not. She kept hearing this deep voice mumbling at inconsistent intervals and was torn between there's someone in the house and I'm finally actually losing my mind. She was studying psych at the time. We finally figured out that it was the smoke detector wanting new batteries, but holy, she scared me. My dog barking only once in a low voice. He will generally go wild if someone is in front of the door, or passes through the hallway. Then sitting up in a way he never does and staring at the door. Nothing happened. It was scary as cause it was everything that he usually does not do. Things that are off, are scarier than grotesque things that happen IMO.